Welcome back, everybody, to Dashing with Flash. So I put the seat back for that one. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you for joining me. As usual, if you could just hit the like button, I'd appreciate that. And if you find yourself enjoying this content for getting value out of it or entertainment out of it, just subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And tell somebody who you think might enjoy this kind of content. With that being said, I'm back with more tips, if you will, at this point, for those of you out there doing Spark delivery. I've talking about Spark at length in a few other videos at this point, and I'm sure you may have seen a couple of those already. So continuing on that trend, as I continue to do a lot of Spark along with a lot of Uber, a couple of things I've noticed recently out here in the Spark delivery world. One thing in particular is I'm noticing those of you that pick up a lot of the big batch orders, the 8 orders, 10 orders, 12 orders, that usually are paying anywhere between the high 30s and high 50s, right? I had one the other day that was $59 for 12 orders. It's around, I think it was around 30 miles, 28 miles, something like that. So one thing I've noticed with those batch orders is that a lot of the names aren't matching up anymore. Meaning, the name that you see on the label that's on the package or, whatever bag that they give you for that particular order doesn't match up with the name that's in the app. So that can be confusing when you, let's say you take all the orders and you just kind of put them in your car. You want to get in and out as quickly as possible. And then once you get to the first delivery, or once you get to each delivery, you kind of then go look for it. Which, either way, I like to load up maybe the first couple of deliveries in my front seat, size, being a factor. If they can fit, then no problem. So what you need to do, what I recommend doing, is your first eye shot really now needs to be looking at those last 4 digits of the order number. Look at the last 4 digits of the order number, match it up with, because you see, the order that you're about to deliver, and then the next one, it has the next one queued up, and then so on and so forth. So when you go look for that first one, whether you set everything up beforehand or kind of wing it after the fact, look for those last 4 digits first of the order number and match it up with your package. In my recent experience, that's going to be the quickest way to get those orders done. Because sometimes you'll look for the name, because now, again, like I said, what's happening is the names aren't matching up. The name that's on the package will be completely different from the name that is in the app. That could be, again, because it's one person's account, but they put a different name on the delivery. Could be a number of reasons why. Some of the things I've seen is that somebody's last name will be different. Somebody changes their name to Demarish. The first name is the same, but then the last name will be different. So there's a lot of that happening right now. So my recommendation is the quickest way. Look at the order number. The last 4, because the order numbers are long. They're like 12 digits long. Look at the last 4 digits of the order number, match it up with the package. They're very visible, so it's very quick to see. Okay. So, dang. I didn't write anything down here. You guys know how I do this. I wing most of this stuff. I kind of keep these ideas off the top of my head, and I just kind of go with it. So I swear I didn't write anything down. I'm looking around here. Something else about Spark that I've noticed recently. Jeez, I swear I remember. I got ADD, so it doesn't help that I don't remember a lot of things. Here's something. A couple of things. First thing is, I've noticed that it appears that the metrics are starting to matter a lot more, right? Whereas when Spark kind of first was kicking around, you could really throw that stuff out the window. But it's starting to have much more of a factor. Now, I don't know how much so, right? Because they have acceptance rate, they have on-time arrival, and they have customer rating, which I don't have any of. So I don't even know. That thing is just like non-existent. And there's another one, a fourth one technically, that I'm not sure what it is. Or I just don't remember at this point. Drop rate, yes. So when if you're hovering around in the orange, it's fine. I recommend not letting any of them dip into the red. Now the acceptance rate, the only way for that to go red is for it to be 0, which it's tough for that not to happen, because there's no reason for you not to take any orders if you're out doing, stuff. It's not like DoorDash where you're like, you get a bunch of, now granted, you get some crappy offers, but it's not like DoorDash where you won't be going 250 for 6 miles. That's not happening on Spark. But be mindful of, I would say, getting there on time to the store, your on-time arrival to the store, and the drop rate. Because as usual, acceptance rate really generally doesn't matter. And again, it'll be very difficult for you to drop, because the only way for it to drop into the red is for it to go 0. Because when you drop into the red in any of the metrics, you're at risk for deactivation. I don't know how seriously they take that, but again, be mindful of it, because it seems like the metrics thing is something they're pushing a little bit more, I would say. And the last thing that I remembered here that I want to talk about is working Spark. Now, that's something I hinted at in the last video I made. Is working Spark in conjunction with other apps, right? And for me, I will, excuse me, I gotta put my seat up because, I'm old. Working Spark with other apps. And again, like I said, for me specifically, that means Uber. And I will say Uber Eats perhaps specifically, but let me dive in a little bit further. You can do Spark, like if you take like, I would say like those one order deliveries, or you have Express or something that's, those grocery orders, pick those up, take them to the destination. Don't follow around with that stuff. Now, those big batch orders, those are .com orders. And those .com orders don't have a timestamp on them per se. They get queued up from early in the morning and just kind of get filtered out throughout the course of the day. Like I said, they don't have a... Now, once you pick it up, it has a timestamp for each thing around what... That's mostly meaningless, I've noticed. And again, I will refer back to the on-time arrival metric, which is calculated by your arrival time to the store, not to those deliveries specifically. From what I understand. I could be completely wrong, but I'm sure I'm right on that one. Which means, prospectively, let's say you picked up a big batch order. I did this the other day. You pick up a 12 batch order. Now, I was out on the 4th doing a bunch of stuff. I was out driving the whole day, from like noon or 1 in the afternoon for pretty much like 10, 11 o'clock. You can pick up a big batch order. I picked up a 12. It was about 30 miles. Matter of fact, this is the same one that I mentioned before. It's about 30 miles, the one that was paying $59. If you're working other apps as well, and you're in the... Now keep in mind, I was also out trying to get as much trips done as possible on Uber, because I was in the middle of working towards my Quest bonus. So I had a priority on Uber, but I picked up that batch order, threw some of the deliveries in the front, put the rest of them in the trunk, leaving my back seat open. just in case I had passenger pickups during this time. Now, mostly I did deliveries. Majority of the stuff that I did on the 4th was deliveries. Pick up that big batch order. Now, this is very similar to what you see other content creators do, which is they'll pick up, they work on like Flex or Shipped, right? Specifically Shipped, I see, where you do these package deliveries for like Target and these other companies, and you pick that up, and then you go about your rush, Uber, DoorDash, whatever the case may be, lunch rush, dinner rush, whatever, you're working that, and while you're doing that, maybe this happened to, like, while I was dropping off like an Uber Eats, it happened to be in the vicinity of one of my, or the next queued up, Spark order in the batch. So I went ahead and went to deliver that. I went to a restaurant to pick up an order, and there was a bit of a wait time. The store had it was a Papa John's. They had a big pizza order prior to the customer that I was picking up for. So, in that meantime, it took like 20 minutes or so. But I'm like, you know what? This next order and my Spark order is a few miles away. I can be there and back in 10 minutes. So I did that. Then came back, picked up the Uber Eats order. Now you have to have, your hustle's got to be on 10 to do this. This is not something you do if you're just out casually and you kind of just kick back, relax, and let me see how much money I can make. You got to be on a particular grind to want to do this, okay? This is not something I recommend if you're just having a lackadaisical day. So, it can be done. And I reached a point where I was like, all right, shut off, I'm done with Uber for the day. Let's go and shut that off. Let me finish up the rest of these, the second half of these deliveries that I have. Because I had delivered maybe between 4 and 6 of them while still doing Uber. And then I shut it off and finished the orders up. So, and one thing I will say with that is to be careful not to extend your Spark order deliveries past the time your store closes. So most Spark shuts off at 10, right? They stop doing deliveries. That's the last time slot you can choose. They shut Spark down for the day, and that's it, right? And then they report whatever doesn't get delivered. If it doesn't show as delivered, blah, 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 then the next day it'll show, and whatever the case may be on their side. Because what happens is, if you have a delivery in tow with you and you haven't delivered it, and that past 10 o'clock lapses, they will mark it. It kind of auto marks, but it will get marked as you picked up an order and didn't deliver it. So just be careful with the time frame. Okay. So that's it, right? So this is more tips and tricks, tips, whatever, for Spark. And again, I hope you guys got some value out of this. If you did, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And I think we are officially, I'm on the mindset of we're grinding to that next 500. So to 1,000. So I would really appreciate it. Again, just share this with whoever you think might enjoy it and get some value out of it. And thank you. Again, I can't, I'm never gonna not say thank you enough, because you don't have to watch these videos. You don't have to watch them. You don't have to like them. You don't have to do any of that stuff. But there's a lot of you that do. And I appreciate that. Genuinely. So again, thank you. This is Dashing with Flash, and I will catch you guys next time.